Now, in a world where people want taxes to go down, the Healthy Living Alliance has been calling for successive finance ministers to increase taxes on sugary items to discourage South Africans from consuming inordinate amounts of sugar. It's been a stop-start, and now with Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana tabling his midterm budget policy statement this afternoon, we check in on them once again in terms of their continued efforts to lobby government. Nzama Mbalati is the programs manager at the Healthy Living Alliance, Heala, and he joins us now via Zoom. A very good day to you, Mr. Mbalati.
Good morning, Desiree, and the viewers. Thank you for the opportunity.
Now, at the last budget, a planned increase of the health promotion levy, or HPL, of 4.5% was held back. What reasons were given?
So there were no reasons given. All of a sudden, the Treasury just came up with a rationale that they will only review the tax by the 2023 Feb budget. What we know, because our ears are on the ground, is that we know this is a result of the sugar industry lobbying. So there have been a private meeting between Treasury, Department of Trade and Industry, and Agriculture, where a decision to reverse the increase in the health promotion levy was made. So we have put a Public Access to Information Act application with Treasury. The days have passed that they were supposed to have actually respond to share the minutes and the rationale for their decision. So until now, what we know for sure is that this has been really a strong lobbying by the sugar industry for Treasury to defer or postpone the increase in the health promotion levy.
Are you worried that the industry voice is louder than yours?
We are very concerned, in particular, because health taxes, so the same playbook that has been used by tobacco and alcohol, we're seeing the same textbook being used by the sugar industry, that is really lobbying and targeting policy and decision makers directly to influence decisions. And most of the time, our biggest concern is that this is based on lies. And because of the vulnerabilities of jobs, the sugar industry has been dropping, differing numbers in terms of the loss to the jobs and the economy due to the health promotion levy, according to them. But we know this industry has always been battered by cheap imports, high labor outputs, droughts, and other challenges that they've had in the past 20 years. But when this levy to protect the health of the population was introduced, they have always used it as a yardstick, to say this is the tax that has actually battered them, and they cannot function. But we know they have been struggling for a long time, and I think one of our biggest concerns is that the sugar drink producers in particular, they have been buying sugar outside the country, cheap imports from Eswatini, for example, and they had the courage to use the small-scale farmers, for the battles, to deny government, to hamstring government, in terms of increasing the health promotion. So this is a very, very worrying and a dangerous trend. We're coming from a state capture era, where a family was able to influence the policy and the ministers who were appointed in government. So this is a very worrying trend once you have private sector or sugar industry in this case being able to determine and to reverse government policy.
But just in terms of your engagement with industry, are you satisfied with the efforts that they're making? Because from a consumer point of view, just in terms of every product you buy, you're seeing reduced sugar or no sugar. So there's some level of effort on the part of industry, or you don't think so?
So that level of effort came through when the regulation came in place. So voluntarily, the industry is not gonna take care of us. All they want is that, they will give us, food that has a taste that we know is palatable and we are used to. If the sugar tax was not introduced, we wouldn't be having those reformulations that we are seeing today from cold drinks of less or no sugar. But we are grateful of that because that is the role of regulation. So, and again, that's why we are calling for a regulation to be strengthened now, because if there is a regulation in place, it kind of like forces the industry to reformulate, which is an important aspect in terms of fixing our food system. If you look at the food we're eating and the food we're buying in the supermarket, all, if not most of them, actually is really unhealthy and ultra-processed food.
So, Mr. Mbalati, do we have any empirical evidence that this increased regulation and increases in tax have had any impact on both the sugar industry and on the mindset change of South Africans?
So behavioral change, this you will know, it's a big struggle. If we want behavioral change, we must make sure that we create an enabling environment for people to make healthier food choices. So, for example, taxes are important, and particularly health taxes, to encourage South Africans or discourage South Africans, to be hooked up into unhealthy products. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done on how we can regulate, easy access of unhealthy products overall. So if you walk into a shop with your child, as you're paying on the aisle, you're surrounded and now dated with sweets. So you can't avoid passing there. So there are ways in which we can work out means, to reduce easy access of unhealthy products for consumption to the population. So we believe that with education, for example, that we are also, as a Healthy Living Alliance, providing a nutrition literacy program in communities, working with organizing like Treatment Action Campaign, the South African Council of Churches. We believe, with support by government, by creating an enabling environment, and we've seen the reduction in the consumption of sugar. The empirical data is there. Obesity reduction in a long term, it's a long-term effort in terms of changing the tide of the obesity. But the encouraging signs of a huge reduction in the sugar drink consumption since the tax was implemented is very encouraging.
So healthy living is sometimes seen as expensive. How do you factor in the rising cost of living in your mission to get South Africans to live a healthy life, and as you approach this afternoon's midterm budget speech?
That's a very important question, Desiree. That's why when you spoke about at the time when people want taxes to be reduced, we can make concerted effort, to make healthy food affordable. For example, we could zero VAT and zero rate some of the staple food, healthy staple food, that people like things like bread and all that. We could reduce VAT in those. So one of the things that Heala has been calling for was a soft ring fence on this tax to ensure that the tax can go towards, reducing the prices of food and subsidizing, most people who cannot afford to buy food, in general, even to buy healthy food in particular. So there is a need for practical means, and we expect the minister to actually look on that and set the tone for government's commitment to reduce poverty and hunger in this country.
Let's thank you again for talking to us. Nzama Mbalati is with the Healthy Living Alliance, and they're trying to lobby the finance minister there to increase tax on sugary items.